All right, let's dive in. We're going to be talking about a pretty radical idea today. What if your money and even your contracts weren't based on simple promises, but on actual mathematical proof? We're talking about a system where value is real, where it's tangible, and where agreements can literally execute themselves. So, how does that work? Let's find out. Here's the roadmap for today. First, we're going to pull back the curtain on some of the hidden flaws in our current financial setup. Then we'll get into the whole concept of sound money, and more importantly, how it gives you a massive advantage in any kind of negotiation or dispute. We'll even walk you through the exact steps to get started. And finally, we'll wrap up by looking at what this all means for the future of value itself. So let's kick things off with a problem. You see, our entire financial world today pretty much runs on two things: slow, clunky, paper-based promises, and currencies that are literally engineered to lose value over time. It's a system that's basically built on friction and decay. This quote right here, it perfectly captures what we call the profit trap. I mean, just think about it for a second. When you sell a real hard asset, like gold or property, to lock in your profits in cash, what are you really doing? You're swapping something with real, lasting value for a government IOU that is guaranteed, by its very design, to buy you less and less stuff tomorrow. And because of this, the whole system can feel kind of rigged. On one side, you've got the paper markets, where the rules can just change on a dime and totally wipe you out. But then on the other side, you've got the physical market, which has this premium trap. That's where you might end up paying, say, $173 for something that only cost the dealer $97 to get. Either way you turn, you're starting at a disadvantage. Okay, so if the old system is built on shaky promises, the alternative has to be built on solid proof. And that brings us right to our next section, the sound money alternative. This slide really breaks down the core difference. Over on the left, you've got fiat currency. It's just an IOU, a debt note from a government. But on the right, you see sound money, a real asset like gold. Here's the key. It isn't a promise to pay you. It is the payment. And that simple fact means there's no counterparty risk, and you have a genuine way to preserve your wealth over the long haul. You know, this concept is so critical, it actually has a name, a Tier 1 asset. Just think of it as the ultimate form of money, the bedrock. When a deal is settled with a Tier 1 asset like gold, that's it. It's final. The deal is completely done. There's no bank or third party that can suddenly fail or try to reverse the payment. And pretty much everything else, well, that's a Tier 2 asset. These are, at their core, just promises. Your fiat currency, paper contracts, even most digital tokens, their value completely depends on someone else making good on their word. They all carry that built-in risk that the promise could be broken. Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. How does holding a Tier 1 asset actually give you an advantage in the real world? Well, in a high-stakes dispute, it completely flips the power dynamic. It moves you from just arguing about a payment to actually executing the payment. Just look at this table. It makes the contrast so obvious. Check out the left column, the traditional system. It's all based on promises and trust, using fiat currency. It's slow, it's manual, it needs middlemen. Now look at the right, the sound money system. It's based on absolute proof. It uses a neutral asset like gold to deliver an automated, final, and unstoppable payout. So what does this all mean for you when you're in a negotiation? It means you have the ultimate leverage. You can offer absolute finality of payment with a real asset. You get to remove all the counterparty risk from the equation. You have verifiable on-chain proof of your funds. In any legal setting, this is a total game changer. An agreement is no longer just a piece of paper. It becomes the trigger for a payment that cannot be stopped. Okay, so this all sounds incredibly powerful in theory, but how do you actually put it to use? Well, that's what this next section is all about, the practical steps you need to take to activate your own sound money account. The very first step is to collateralize your account. Now, this isn't a fee you're paying, this is you proving you have actual skin in the game. The minimum to activate all the enterprise features is 15 gold backs, which are these really cool, small, spendable units of physical gold. This physical backing is what gives your account its real power. And the process itself is really simple, just 3 steps. First, you'll create a membership with one of our vaulting partners, like Upama or Alpine Gold. This sets up your very own private trust that holds your assets. Second, you fund that account to buy the physical gold that will back it. And finally, you get a unique member ID. That ID is the key that connects your physical gold to our entire digital system. And that member ID, it's the absolutely crucial link in this whole chain. It's like your digital fingerprint. It's the cryptographic key that connects your real, vaulted, and fully insured gold to the digital world, allowing you to prove your holdings and execute transactions with certainty. So for our final section, let's zoom out a bit. What does all of this mean for the future of value itself? Well, what we're really talking about here is a fundamental shift from a world based on promises to a world based on programs. This is the end game, right here. Legal agreements are no longer these passive, static documents. They are becoming living, breathing code. A contract can now automatically enforce itself, triggering a payout that simply cannot be stopped. Trust is taken out of the hands of fallible people and placed directly into transparent, verifiable, auditable code. And that leads to this one. Profound question. If the contract itself becomes the execution, how does that change, well, everything? When trust is no longer something you have to hope for, but is a built-in feature of the network itself, how does that reshape commerce, finance, and maybe even our very idea of justice? The implications are just staggering, and believe me, we are just getting started.